Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a max effort lower day, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below. It would be greatly appreciated. So for people who will go, and this often happens, hey, why are you doing this? What's up with why the box squat? What's special about this bar? What's special about doing whatever? What's special about it is that I haven't done it for months. That's it. Okay? And hopefully people understand that when we're doing max effort lifts, yes, there's times when we pick certain ones for testers or to learn to strain through a certain point. But a lot of times we're trying to get a heavy max in, strain against an awkward load, and do so on a lift we haven't done in a long time. So that again, we practice awkward loads, we practice bracing, we practice driving through on something we're not used to. And I've made a lot of videos explaining why we do this. So it's like, if you don't know why, you haven't been paying attention to my channel. I have probably 3 hours of talking about this topic ad nauseum. So what do? We ended up doing 422 total bar weight plus 50 pounds of chains on a parallel box, which is pretty much a 13-inch box, which is right at parallel up to maybe a hair below for me, when I do the wide stance. And yes, that was challenging. So again, I'm going to mark that, and then I'll try to eventually do that lift again. But what I'm going to do for a while, it's going to be at least a few months for him to get back on a platform, I just need to build base strength again. I just need to get brutally strong. We need to continue to cut, get leaner, work on body composition, and I need to just go back to the traditional conjugate system, the way I've ran it in the past, to get really strong. When I first got my squats up really high. First time you guys saw me hit 600 on a Cambered bar. Okay. Granted, it was a little high. When I was pulling over 600 on a deficit, so on and so forth. To get back to that baseline, we've got to go back to the basics. We've got to get back to that point, but I need to do so at a lighter body weight and a lower body fat and older. Okay. Get back to that strength level while walking around under 220. All right. So again, to make that happen, we've got to change this stuff up a little bit, go back to the roots, heavy good mornings. So what I do on the good mornings, did it a little different today. All right, I'm working them back in. I did that same set of 10 I did last time, but then I went up to 5s. Okay, I added another plate aside, went from 265 for the 10 up to 355, did 5. Felt pretty heavy, felt like I could go a little heavier, so put another 20 on and did 5. Okay, that was hard. Okay. So I've got a goal to work on here too. I need to get that up to where I can do that good quality range of motion with 405 for a good work set. All right, that's a short-term goal. Need to get back to that point. Until I can do that, I'm not comfortable trying to do over 500 on a max. I need to max on good mornings again. All right, the belt squats. What do? Working this wide stance and going as deep as I possibly can. I bumped the weight this time. So again, like I said in the last vlog, the lesson I learned from doing the narrow stance is really I've got to go lighter if I want to get the full range of motion. So I went back to the wide stance, which hits the quads hard, but it works my adductors also really, really hard. So I supersetted that with glute ham raises to get the workout done quicker, because I like my workouts right now. Ideally get them done in an hour. It seems like with the max work though, I struggle to do that. Like if I just take the maxes out, my workouts are under an hour. But sometimes just getting into the calm mindset, getting set up, making sure the chains are right, everything else, can take 20 minutes, 25 minutes setting up my max sometimes. For me, I'm just slow to get started. Then once I get that first max done, I can just knock this accessory workout real quick. So I like to superset a lot of it. But on the belt squats, again, we went up. These were hard sets. Okay, these were really, really difficult to get 10 reps. Notice me pausing at the top on a lot of the reps, especially with the depth. Okay, it's making a big difference going deeper on these. I feel so much more quad activation, less joint. So this is what we need to do. Back to going super deep on this stuff. Set the ego to the side. Don't add weight until I can get all the reps deep, and then bump the weight up gradually. All right, I only did 2 sets of glute ham raises because I did the really heavy good mornings first. So I did 1 set with the red band, then I stepped up to the heavier blue band, and I managed to get 8 with the blue band. I'm like, I better stop here. I don't want my hamstrings cramping up. The banded good glute ham raises they're kind of brutal. They're pretty tough. It's just a completely different dynamic. And I have a history of the hamstrings cramping from these, but I've come off creatine and I found that that's resolved it because I did some research on it, and that seems to be really the culprit for me. So I'm just going to skip creatine for a while. I don't like that because of the cognitive benefits. I've never noticed anything, muscle growth, performance, anything else in the decades I've been a lifter from creatine, but I always take it for the health benefits because it's really cheap. All right, I buy the big kilo tubs off Amazon. But I haven't been using it for a while. I've noticed my hamstring cramps have subsided. I might eventually add it back in and see if it returns. But, we'll think on it. So I only did 2 sets of the glute ham raises, but I did 3 sets of the belt squats. And I think every workout, I need to make sure I get that 3 sets into the belt squats. It'll ensure my quads get the work I need, the adductors. And I am sled dragging a few times a week, where really I'm pushing my prowler at this point. So that is being done. So that is additional work there. And of course, when I do speed squats, which I'm doing every other week now, I'm alternating it with deadlifts. It helps. And notice that my forearms are getting bigger. So it's my biceps. Really, my triceps still kind of suck, even though I close grip a decent amount. Notice just at those angles, the arms are looking bigger, but I think it's because of all the radial brachialis in the forearm and all that. And that's coming along. Bringing those up, not as important for a power lifter, but we could argue they are for the bench press. But as I continue to get leaner, having bigger arms, bigger shoulders isn't going to hurt my outreach at all. But I think we can tell at this point the body fat's definitely coming down. Like I said, I don't have great midsection because of, again, the loose skin from cutting. But I feel like over time, as I continue to lose the fat in that area, it's going to tighten up. I think particularly with my diet so high in antioxidants and along with the HGH, I'm hoping that will tighten up over time. I'm thinking it's going to, right? I'm thinking it's going to. But again, it's one of the things I will note. Anyone out there who's telling lifters over 40, if you're trying to play this, don't use growth hormone, you want to be natural, you're an idiot and you're hurting people. Okay, sorry. It's a game changer for tendons, recovery, just staying leaner, sleep quality. It is an absolute game changer. And I don't see myself ever not using it. At this point, it's just not an option for me. The benefits are so phenomenal. Now that I've been using it a little while, that I'm never coming off of it. No point, it would be dumb. But I do feel like it's going to help with the skin as I get leaner, but that body fat has to continue to come down. All right, so we did our 5 sets of 10 on the reverse hyperextension, and I've gone lighter. Like, let me just get strict, get the longest range of motion I can at the top. And I'm just going to do 50% of squat max. And I know that's, going off my last meet. And it's just a normal raw squat. And I think that's a good way to do it. I've noticed I definitely get a better range of motion instead of trying to just push weight. Felt the low back really well doing that. All right, really felt the low back tremendously. And I think it's that additional range of motion at the top. And then I finished up with one really high rep set of standing band crunches, which you guys can watch me do here or not. If you don't want to watch them, you don't have to watch them. But again, try to get at least one really quality set of abs in on all my lower body days. I'm doing a few crunches and stuff for high reps, throughout the week here and there. But I do want to make sure I hit some abs every time I train. And it's going to be a standing crunch or a hanging leg raise of some type. But these, I've just marked 100. I'm sure I went past 100. I lost count. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.